Hi everyone, my name is Kamil. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Tokenguard, and we're super excited to have you all here to share our latest insights about Web3 user acquisition in different Web3 ecosystems, as well as share our latest brand review that we've been crafting in the backend for the last few months. Before we start, just wanted to share that if you have any questions about our data, charts, and insights that we share here, feel free to drop the question right into the chat box on the YouTube website. And later, after the whole presentation, we'll have a short Q&A section where we'll try to answer all of these questions. Additionally, for all these who ask the most interesting questions, we'll be sending out our new branded merch package, of course, based on the assumption that you will share your address that we can send it out to. So super excited to have you here, and let's dive deeper into this data. So the main subject of this presentation is to understand how different Web3 ecosystems approach user acquisition. And we as Tokenguard have indexed and analyzed multiple Web3 ecosystems. And today we would like to discuss three of them, which is Polkadot, Arbitrum, and Moonbeam. Let's start with Polkadot, which is one of the closest ecosystems to our heart because that's exactly where Tokenguard has started its operation around 2 years ago. You may have all seen multiple articles and buzz in the social media sharing information that Polkadot has spent more than $13 million on different inefficient marketing activities during the last few months. And part of it is true, part of it is not, because essentially most of this budget was spent on very important PR activities that are basically not measurable by the nature of these activities, including sponsorships for sport teams in the US and sponsorship of a NASCAR racing driver. However, we need to also take into consideration that Polkadot is on the edge of a groundbreaking technology, and all the decisions within the ecosystem are made in a fully decentralized manner, meaning that even marketing activities are being self-organized by teams inside of the Polkadot ecosystem. One of those teams was Marketing Bounty that has acquired around $3 million in the Polkadot ecosystem. And big chunk of this budget was spent also on very important educational purposes and PR activities, sharing knowledge about Polkadot and the whole ecosystem itself, which is quite, frankly speaking, very technical. However, $2 million out of this budget was spent on KOLs, so-called key opinion leaders, who are basically crypto influencers. And on the Marketing Bounty website, you can actually analyze how the content being created by these KOLs looks like. But is this an efficient strategy to acquire a new user group for an ecosystem so big as Polkadot? So the truth is that data says that KOLs are not really efficient in predicting crypto market prices, nor the recommendations are good for beginner investors. And some of these strategies may actually work for meme coins, where the initial user pool of a meme coin is pretty small and it needs to grow rapidly. However, for an ecosystem as big as Polkadot, where you have almost $6 billion market cap, such strategies do not really work very often. That's mostly because an average call target audience consists of very beginner crypto users who usually have a very low wallet value and are mostly using centralized exchanges to make their first investments. This means that in order to acquire this kind of users, you will have a conversion cost of around tens to hundreds of dollars through KOLs. But as a result, what you're going to get is this user is going to buy some coins on tokens for a value of tens or hundreds of dollars on a centralized exchange, which means that as a result, the customer acquisition cost for this kind of a user is going to be much higher than the lifetime value of this user for the ecosystem. So are these the users that we're looking for? In order to answer this question, we took a look at regular StellaSwap users that interact with this DEX, which is deployed on Moonbeam network, which is also a part of the Polkadot ecosystem. And as you can see on a screenshot from our application, The top users interacting with these protocols are exchanging or generating volume from tens to hundreds to even millions of dollars with this protocol. And 50% of these users are actually also using Wormhole, which is a cross-chain bridge, meaning that these, in most cases, are very advanced crypto users that have medium or high wallet value and are proficient enough to use decentralized exchanges as well as cross-chain bridges. Among these users, you will also see institutional investors and digital asset funds. Of course, blockchain is anonymous, you cannot tell who's who. However, the fact is that many decentralized exchanges are actively outreaching to these kind of users in order to acquire them as liquidity providers. So that is Polkadot. How did Arbitrum do about user acquisition? So Arbitrum organized an LTIPP project that has spent more than $15 million on user acquisition over a period of 3 months, during which 85 projects received funding to incentivize their users using claimable and non-claimable rewards. The program has started in June this year and was just finished in September this year, so we can actually start to analyze the long-term results of this program for the whole ecosystem. The interesting fact is that Arbitrum incentivized multiple types of projects, including cross-chain bridges, lending protocols, DEXs, gaming projects, and other types of dApps. And Tokenguard supported 30 projects available in LTIPP, which allowed us to bring out some of the interesting results to the broad daylight and share them with you. So in order to share the most interesting insights, we decided to compare 2 projects. One of them is Across, which is a cross-chain bridge, and the second one is Delta Prime, which is a lending protocol. And as you can see on the chart on the left, Across, during the duration of LTIPP program, has increased number of its users about 8 times, which is a huge increase. However, the number of users has dropped almost to its baseline after the program was finished. Delta Prime, on the other hand, had around 5 million TVL before the program started. During the duration of the program, it had almost 30 million TVL, which then dropped back to 15. So as a result, it brought a 3 times increase in TVL, taking into consideration the data we have. So if you took these 2 charts, you most definitely say that Delta Prime did a better job in incentivizing and activating the whole ecosystem. But is that really true? So in order to answer that, we took a deeper look into Across users. And what we discovered is that users that were acquiring during the LTIPP project were on average much more active compared to regular Arbitrum users, meaning they transferred much more money into Arbitrum ecosystem and interacted with many more dApps. As you can see on the screen here, the value of the interactions ranged from tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and on average, users interacted with more than 5 decentralized applications in the Arbitrum ecosystem, and we can still observe this activity happening. And that is because Across, as a bridge, has created a no entry barrier for people to move funds into Arbitrum ecosystem, so they didn't pay any fees in order to move their funds into Arbitrum ecosystem because that was rewarded or incentivized. However, there is still high exit barrier for these people to move out their funds out of the Arbitrum ecosystem because exiting the funds to other ecosystem isn't rewarded, meaning that you still have to pay pretty hefty fees for doing so. And of course, we need to still analyze the data coming from this program, but we can already tell that some of the insights we got from here can be used for designing a proper user acquisition strategy. So to answer the initial question, is it possible to measure user acquisition in Web3 the same way as we do in Web2, meaning we display an ad to someone, we then measure the movement of this user up to the moment that he converts. In order to find a final answer, we decided to dive deeper into Moonbeam data, which also belongs to Polkadot ecosystem. On the left, you have some of the biggest DeFi protocols available in Moonbeam. And one of them is StellaSwap, which is the second biggest decentralized exchange, but the biggest native only on Moonbeam, meaning that it's only available on Moonbeam, not on any other chain. So it's basically designed to be one chain app only. On the other hand, Moonbeam also has multiple cross-chain bridges such as Wormhole Layer 0 and Axelar. So let's see how this all works out. So as you can see on the screenshot from our application, 50% of the top value users are coming to Stellar Swap using Wormhole. That is the first insight. And the second one is that around 5% of users are responsible for around 80% of volume. And this insight is going to be true for most of DeFi protocols and dApps out there, meaning that a Pareto ratio of a very small percentage of users being responsible for a huge percentage of the volume. This is also true for protocols, adult protocols such as Uniswap, where you have the top DeFi users or investors or even digital asset funds generating huge turnovers compared to regular users. So how this looks like for Moonbeam itself. Moonbeam is a pretty alternative ecosystem right now, meaning its market cap is much lower to where it was at all-time high. During the last 3 months, Moonbeam had around 110,000 active users that did some kind of transfer or interaction with an application. However, only 1,160 users interacted with Wormhole and StellaSwap during this period. So basically just 1%. However, this 1% of users was responsible for almost 80% of transfer volume in US dollar on Moonbeam network, meaning that 1% of users who used either Wormhole or StellaSwap generated almost 80% of the overall transfer volume on the network. Which brings us to a final question. How can we actually understand funnels and acquisition of user in the Web3 world? In order to do so, we need to understand user personas, because acquisition of a high-value DeFi user is going to be totally different compared to acquisition of a gaming user. So in case of high-value DeFi users, what you want first to do is you want to specify how these users interact with other protocols. You also want to identify these users on other networks to be able to preview how they behave. You then want to target these users either with highly personalized ads or with rewarding mechanisms or incentives, so that these users can move their funds from one Web3 ecosystem through a free bridge into your Web3 ecosystem, so that they start to use DeFi protocols and dApps existent in your Web3 ecosystem. And usually you would also want to have claimable rewards for them, meaning allowing you to understand whether these users came to your ecosystem because of the rewards, or maybe they weren't even aware of these rewards. A different story will work for gaming users, where the beginning of the acquisition would probably start on off-chain channels such as Twitter or Discord, and you would like to move these users into Quest platforms such as Layer 3 or Galaxy project, so that they can later on convert in the gaming projects you have in your ecosystem. And of course, a different story could be used for meme coin, where you would have a beginner crypto user and you would basically target them with KOLs. But in both these cases we have on the screen, it is possible to design a measurable user acquisition campaign in Web3. So to summarize, what you want to achieve is you want to display highly targeted ads with tools such as Slice, Addressable, or Hypelab. They already allow to display ads to specific wallet addresses. You want to know the exact wallet addresses that you want to target and display these ads to them on a specific Web3 ecosystem. And then you want to track and bring these users down for a cross-chain bridge or other acquisition technology, so that they convert and interact with DeFi protocols and dApps you have in your ecosystem. So that's for the user acquisition strategies. And let's get back to our brand reveal that will be presented by Jacob.
Hey everyone. So today I wanted to talk about a bold new chapter and the journey behind our identity. So The long anticipated moment has arrived. Today, we're excited to unveil our new name and brand identity. This marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter for us, and we can't wait to share it with you. So, in our earlier days, our focus was on providing top notch security audits for blockchain projects. We made sure that the projects were safe, secure, and trustworthy. However, the Web3 landscape is ever evolving, and so are we. Our expansion goes beyond security audits. We've grown our services to meet the dynamic needs of the constantly changing space. Over the years, our brand has served us well, anchoring us a reliable and trusted partner in the Web3 world. But as we've continued to grow, it became clear that this year would be the right time to embrace change. We are stepping forward, ready to reflect a broader mission and a fresh perspective. So, the pivot we're making is a significant one. As Web3 continues to evolve at a fast pace, staying relevant is more than just an ambition, it's a necessity. We've rebranded with a commitment to adaptability, a focus on innovation, and a desire to embody a truly modern identity. Our new brand reflects this transformation, positioning us at the forefront of the Web3 space. In a field as dynamic as Web3, competitiveness requires constant evolution. Our new identity embraces this ever-changing landscape, allowing us to remain agile and ahead of the curve. So, while we may look different, our core values haven't changed. The essence of who we are and what we believe in remains firmly intact. We've updated our mission to encompass broader goals, but at the heart, our commitment to integrity, innovation, and trust is unchanged. So, now for the review. So we have a fresh new look. I wanted to introduce patterns. So our new logo is a symbol of interconnectedness and data flow, built from a diamond shape that form a unique pattern. This design embodies our belief in the power of using data patterns to drive growth. So, data patterns drive growth. This is our new creed, which focuses on boosting growth with informed decisions thanks to detailed analytics. Also, our new color palette is inspired by patterns found in nature, signaling our dedication to innovation, sustainability, and trustworthiness. And finally, as a part of our rebrand, we are also rolling out a redesigned app that brings crucial user analytics to the forefront. With this, we aim to offer deeper insights and a more intuitive experience for our users. And lastly, the process. So, this transformation would not have been possible with the incredible support and collaboration of our creative partner beings. So we worked together, we've brought this new brand identity to life through a meticulous process. It was complex, involving countless hours of brainstorming, design, and decision making, but it was worth every moment. So Beings helped us uncover an exciting brand opportunity that sets us apart in a space often filled with purely techie vibes. So together we've created an identity that's not only visually distinct, but also deeply resonates with our values and vision. And thank you for joining us on this journey. We're thrilled to step into this new era with you. And now I'll hand things over back to Camille.
Okay, thanks, Jacob. Sorry for the small interruption. Okay, so here we are. Patterns that build is our new brand identity, and we hope that you're gonna love it, as it comes with our new and modified application that will serve dApp builders with in different Web3 ecosystems. So trying to answer the strategy for the next few months, we would like to share some of the newest features that we'll be deploying in our application, as well as our strategy to build a multi-chain growth tool for dApp builders. So the fact is that with over 400 million Web3 wallets around the globe, that Web3 builders, meaning dApp builders, protocol builders, still can't identify these users and understand their behavior in order to be able to outreach to them properly and measure their conversions. The problem is that currently Web3 applications are getting more and more complex, meaning that you still have a Web2 frontend, which is connected to Web3 backend. And the data that comes from the Web2 front end where users interact with your application cannot be easily connected to with Web3 data points where the on-chain conversions are actually happening. Additionally, Web3 is totally anonymous, and with the sunset of third-party cookies, Web2 is also becoming anonymous unless your user is registered to your application. So currently, there are multiple tools and data points that you would have to connect in order to be able to uh, gather insights out of those multiple data sources. So in Web2, you would usually have either Google Query or Snowflake serving as a data layer, and Google Analytics or Mixpanel serving as an analytics layer. In Web3, of course, you're going to have Dune Analytics, which we also really love, and Safari or Helica available as analytics layer. However, there is no solution for these two worlds to merge and able to match Web2 data points with Web3 on-chain conversions. This is why Patterns will become an integrated connector of Web2 and Web3 data points, where we'll be allowing web builders to finally match this data in a privacy-reserving manner so that the users can still become anonymous. However, it will be possible for dApp builders to analyze the attribution path and acquisition path of these users in order to build efficient user acquisition strategies. So our go-to-market strategy focuses on the Web3 market, as we have the most experience in Web3 market right now, and we still observe a huge need for Web3 builders to understand where their users are coming from and what insights they can gather from analyzing user data. Afterwards, after around 12 months, we want to add a possibility of matching this data coming from either Google Query or Google Analytics in a GDPR-friendly way that will preserve the privacy of users, meaning that Patterns will have no access to this data, but will allow a tool for dApp builders to connect this data in a time-saving manner and basically gather insights out of this data. So how this translates into the features that we're going to deploy in Patterns.build application within the next few weeks. The first feature is the cross-chain user acquisition analytics for dApp builders. As we have already seen on cases of Moonbeam and Arbitrum, in most cases, the most valuable users are coming through cross-chain bridges from other Web3 networks. So we want to allow dApp builders and protocol builders the possibility to analyze where the specific user came from, because that will allow that builder to match this to a marketing campaign that he's actually running and see whether this marketing campaign brings a result for the application. So with different bridges, wormholes, XCMs being built currently on different Web3 networks, we are planning to serve more of this data to dApp builders. The second feature is the option to understand how airdrop campaigns differentiate users and their activity. So far, airdrops have become one of the most popular tools for dApp builders to acquire new users, but there was no tool to actually compare the differences in user behavior between non-rewarded users and rewarded users. And this was also a problem in the LTIPP program, especially in case where you had claimable rewards, meaning that you couldn't easily analyze how conversions differ, how fees differ between users that received an airdrop and that didn't receive an airdrop. And this is a second feature that we'll be rolling out within the next few weeks. The last but not least is the wallet CRM that is already available in our application, but we want to make it more available to many more builders in the Web3 space. So each dApp and protocol and wallet app builder that exists on the network that we currently support will have an option to add their smart contracts into our application and automatically analyze wallets that interact with his or her application, meaning specify different user segments based on types of conversions, such as swap or adding liquidity, or build their own segments that they think are reasonable, such as DeFi users or high TVL users or gaming users. Currently, our wallet CRM allows you to understand what volumes are being generated, when the user joined, what was his last interaction, and what was his interaction timeline within your app, and what other dApps he used as well. So if you'd like to patterns to support your network and to support your application, please feel free to reach out to us on Telegram, either on email or on Discord, and we're happy to start building together with your ecosystem. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm super happy to answer all of these. We're super excited to have you all guys here. Okay, I can see Gustav has asked a question. Based on your analysis, would you say that Polkadot should use a different strategy for user acquisition? Which strategy should Polkadot adopt to drive volume? So this is going to be my personal opinion after the analysis of all the data that we have seen. But basically, we believe that all the strategies, user acquisition strategies, should, but in the end, be measurable. Not including PR, because of course it's pretty important. But if we mention internet acquisition strategies, then yes, it should be measurable. So if we decide to run a strategy based on KOLs, this KOL strategy should include a link for people to buy tokens or coins on centralized exchanges or through hydration, for example, where we could measure the amount of users that basically converted using this specific KOL. I personally do not believe that KOL strategy makes sense for Polkadot, but this is a way to measure it. My personal view is that Polkadot in its current state should focus on acquiring DeFi users because, as we could see on the examples I gave, these users have much higher wallet value. And acquiring these users who are moving through, let's say, Snowbridge is much easier or will bring much more value compared to a user acquired through a KOL. Even if this is going to be 10 users, these users are probably going to bring in more demand for underlying coin than 1,000 users acquired through KOLs. So this is my current view about this, and of course this should also be measurable so that in the end we can compare whether this strategy was better than the other one, and we can choose the right one, right? And yeah, so that would be my answer. And we have another question from Bart. Is it possible to add any dApp to patterns tool? Yes, of course. We currently support multiple ecosystems depending on which ecosystem your app is available at. However, if you'd like to add that application, feel free to outreach to me on Telegram. My Telegram is Kamil Gorski, and we'll add your dApp. You can also add your smart contracts all by yourself. But since we're having a lot of new features being deployed, it may be easier for you just to reach out to us. So feel free to reach out to me on Telegram. Awesome. I hope that I answered all of the questions. Gustav, Bart, if you'd like to, feel free to share your address in a direct message to me on Telegram, and we'll send you some patterns merch. And yeah, in the next upcoming days, you will see our new and updated website and applications. So we're super happy to have you guys on board. And again, if you'd like for patterns to support your application or ecosystem, feel free to outreach to us, and we'll start working on it. Thank you very much.